Well, that's it, friends. It's over. Football season is over. For Northeast Mississippi, anyway, it is. Last three teams, the last two public school teams remaining in the playoffs get knocked out tonight, Corinth and East Webster, and also in private schools, Marshall Academy losing in the Class 2A finals. So that is it. No trips to Jackson for me next week. I'm Brad Locke, Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal Assistant Sports Editor, joined by John Pitts, my immediate boss. John, good evening.
Hi.
Once again, let's go down the list. In 3A, Corinth losing badly to Louisville, 48-14. The Wildcats a big favorite to win the state title in 3A. In 1A, East Webster undefeated coming into tonight, but they fall at Ray Brooks 32-10. A bit of a shocker considering how East Webster had been running over everybody, scoring 6 or 7 touchdowns a game. And then again in the 2A MPSA state championship game, Marshall Academy falls short against Centerville Academy, 36-21. John, let's just go over all the scores. It was the North Finals for the MHSAA playoffs in 5A. South Panola keeps rolling over Olive Branch, 43-28, and so the Tigers will meet George County next week in the 5A state championship. George County beats Meridian 33-14. In 4A, Noxubee County, a bit of a Cinderella story, knocks off Kosciuszko 26-3, and Laurel over Moss Point 40-33. So Noxubee and Laurel in 4A. In 3A, again, Louisville over Corinth, and Franklin County, the defending state champ, over Raleigh 38-13. So Franklin County and Louisville in 3A. In 2A, West Bolivar over Hollandale Simmons 44-40, and Taylorsville takes care of Enterprise Clark 49-7. So West Bolivar and Taylorsville in 2A. And in 1A, again, Ray Brooks the winner. They will play Puckett, the defending state champ. Puckett rallied to beat Ware 13-12, and also another score in the MPSA Class A championship, Glenbrook, Louisiana 38, Bayou Academy 7. So a Louisiana team wins the Mississippi championship, which happens every year it seems like. But the oddities of the private school association there. John, I was at Corinth and Louisville. I just got back from Louisville, which is why I look like I'm about half asleep, because it was a yawner, and right now it's pretty late. Louisville's good. Second week in a row I've seen them play. They had trouble with Ripley last week, but that's partly because they turned it over 5 times. Only 1 turnover tonight, and they get over that pretty quickly. Total domination tonight by Louisville. A lot of people pegged them to win 3A because they moved down from 4A, and they're pretty good at that level, but now in 3A, rolling along, have not lost to a 3A team, and I expect they'll wrap things up next week, John. Clayton Moore, Denias Timms, Arnold Henderson all had big games for Louisville. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead, 28-7 at halftime, and the second half just poured it on, and midway through the third quarter, high fives all around for Louisville. But a good season by Corinth. They won 8 in a row after a 1-4 start. Weren't expected really to get here. They've only they're going to lose 5 seniors, so the Warriors, I think they'll be back strong next year. John, East Webster, I mentioned them, and of course you've been following them too, I'm sure. This team has been hanging 40, 45, 50 points on everybody this year, sometimes 60, and they only had 3 points going into the fourth quarter and ended up losing 32-10.
So 31, actually.
31-10.
I messed it up there in first edition, so. But
31. Let me fix that. Get some better.
Yeah, right. And apparently, one of the keys to that game was that the quarterback for Brooks only threw 2 passes, or only completed the 2 passes he threw for maybe 7 yards. But then rushed for 170-odd yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion as well.
Yeah, 172 yards on 23 carries, and you mentioned the touchdowns. Timothy Graham, the Ray Brooks quarterback. So that's got to be an awfully good Ray Brooks defense to hold East Webster down. The Wolverines with guys like Reginald O'Brien and Mitchell McCurry and Jonathan Banks, and pretty good offensive line, been putting up the points all year. So East Webster will not get to return to Jackson to try to win that state championship that eluded them last year. And we mentioned Marshall Academy, a nice run by the Patriots, got all the way down to the to Clinton for the state finals, but Centerville winning, I think, its 7th state title. They've been there a few times, and Marshall came close, but no cigar.
This is a closer game than it appeared too, in that Centerville tacked one on late in the game, but there was a big 4th down play where Centerville went for it, just barely got it, pushed on in and scored.
And that put them ahead to stay, and like I said, the late touchdown. But Brent Adams, the brother of Seth, Ole Miss quarterback, he led Marshall to a fine season, so congratulations to a strong run by them as well. Another game going on tonight of interest, Olive Branch at South Panola. There are a few people out at that one. South Panola pulling it out after falling behind 10-0, and they end up winning, John, what was it, 43-28?
43-28, the Barksdale kid, Tig Barksdale, the Ole Miss recruit, 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, and also an interception return for a touchdown. So he had himself a dandy night.
We're talking, we need to get the Ole Miss statisticians to give him that extra yard. So 399 for Mr. Barksdale, just, man, yeah, Ole Miss is getting a good one there. Big win
In a
for South.
state semifinal, that's the thing, in a state, this wasn't some regular season game, it's a state semifinal game,
Yeah,
and the guy just goes off.
And it's not like they threw any more than they usually do, I don't think.
Everybody knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They just can't stop.
Yeah, they know, everybody knows, and Olive Branch knew. They've seen this team a few times over the past few years. They end up playing usually in the regular season and in the playoffs. This is the 3rd straight year that they met in the North Final, and once again, South Panola comes out on top. That's 74 in a row, and they will play for their 5th straight state championship next week. So, John, where are we at? I'm looking at my 5 stars. We're there already. We went through the schedule next week in Jackson. Well, except tonight, the 5 stars, that's going to be 3 stars because we only had 3 teams left in it. But we didn't have any stats from East Webster, and they got beat so badly, I'm not sure if they had a star. So we'll go with 1 from South Panola to make up for that. I wonder who. Star number 1, Brent Adams for Marshall Academy, 83 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing, and 142 yards passing to close out his fine prep career. For Corinth tonight, pretty much the only bright spot was Damian Hughes. The running back rushed for 178 yards, couldn't find the end zone, but great season for him. I think he'll end up with close to 1,700 yards. He didn't even start at tailback until the 5th game of the season because Hubert Crawford, the original starter, went down with a back injury. So great effort all season, and especially tonight by Damian Hughes. He was running hard and getting that jersey dirty even in the final quarter when the game was out of hand. And finally, Tig Barksdale, as we mentioned, 399 yards and 3 touchdowns. He scored on runs of 53, 82, and 40 yards. So that's your wrap up for tonight. The state championships, if you want to go watch some good football, starting Friday with the Class 5A and I believe the Class 2A games, and then on Saturday it's Class 1A, 3A, and 4A. So once again, real quick, those matchups in 5A, South Panola, George County, and 4A, Noxubee County, Laurel. 3A, Louisville, Franklin County. 2A, West Bolivar, Taylorsville. 1A, Ray Brooks against Puckett. So thanks for joining us all season for the Northeast Mississippi Rewind and the Northeast Mississippi Scouting Report we've had all year. So no more of that until next fall, but it's basketball season now, John, and we'll figure out some way to get in front of the camera and make fools of ourselves again. So thanks for all of you who put yourselves through watching this for a few minutes every week. And please keep tuned in to the Daily Journal and my blog, bradlock.wordpress.com, for all the latest high school sports news.